Hello, and welcome to my Applied Management Practice, Component 2, Reflection on my Personal Development Plan. As you can see on this slide, this is the contents page. If at any point throughout this presentation you wish to take time to pause and look at in more detail each slide, then please feel free. As you can see on this slide, to start off with, we shall look at the introduction. Now, the role I wish to go for is that of a business manager or a director. Now, this market is highly competitive as it belongs in the top 3 of recent graduate employment markets. Now, those 3 make up 70% of the total graduate employment. Due to COVID-19, last year it was noted that there was a substantial drop of people in placements. Now, this has affected myself as I originally planned on taking up this opportunity. As you can see on this slide, this is the original personal development plan. It is made up of 4 components: time management, leadership, punctuality, and finally, technology. As you can see, it says how each one shall be achieved, what resources are needed, what will be the success criteria, and finally, target day for review and completion. To start off with, we shall look at that of time management. Now, this objective is designed to be able to meet my deadlines. The resources used is that of my laptop, as this is due to having a calendar on it for me to be able to mark each date. As well as this, there's also a tally scorecard made in a Word document you'll see in the next slide. Now, this was the only development category which was not picked solely on the assessment results, as during a reflection I noticed that this was a huge problem for myself. Now, when it comes to the results of the time management so far, by far this was my worst, as due to mitigating circumstances and some external circumstances, I heavily struggled with achieving this. As you can see on the right of the screen, APM mitigation 1, the date was 16th of June and it had 4 tallies, hence it is in yellow. Now for the next 2, the 25th of June and 21st of June, you'll notice that the most is only 1 day behind, hence it's highlighted in green. However, for my future focus deadline, I was 5 days late, which means it's in red and it counts as a failure. Due to this not working for me, I have to come up with a new technique in order to achieve this next time. The next is that of leadership roles. As my course is leadership based and my ideal graduate job is that of being a leader, this is a skill which must be constantly practiced with. As you can see on the right of the screen, this was one of my courses. This was a group course work, so I decided to measure how much time I spent in a leadership situation, such as delegating tasks, per week. As you can see, there's a noticeable rise between week 1 and week 4. However, there's a drop from week 4 to week 5. This, however, is not a concern, as week 6 managed to be the best in terms of time spent in a leadership role. We used Belbin's team roles theory to delegate roles at the very start. The results of mine had everyone else vote me as the leadership role overall. Overall, this would be a success. The third one is that of punctuality. My target was to attain 70% attendance for this term, then increase it by 10% per term to the end of university. Due to a variety of factors, this was missed by a long shot, with failure to attend several key lessons in each module. However, this would be made up somewhat when it comes to my group task, as mentioned before. As I was always punctual, I was given a full score when it comes to the peer reviews done by my colleagues, as you can see on the other side of the screen. The last one was that of technology. Now, this was the most obvious issue found in all of the self-assessments, including the peer reviews. I decided to implement technology for one of these self-assessments as I noticed it was a problem before I reached doing all 12 necessary. So I made my own online test based on previous assessments for peers to review. The results show on top right, it kind of failed for the second section as entering the questions did not work and it ended up being not clear and concise, leading to miscommunication in how to answer the question and having that second section have to be written off for the final assessment. As you can see in the bottom right, this is an average of myself and 5 other peer reviewers' ideals on where I would be for technology. As you can see, for databases and spreadsheets, it's number 2, which is my lowest score for this section. Now we move on to the reflective development record. To start off with, there are several key dates which are mentioned. That is of 6th of May, which is when I first started meeting for the simulation. And this is when I first started recording, which as you can see is week 1 of the previous slides. This was done because of this course being a leadership course, so I had to make sure I can actually follow through. I learned from this at the end that I'm actually a better leader than previously thought, and I've decided that while I will continue to refine my leadership skills, I've decided that I'm comfortable enough with it, but there's no further need for it to be my top priority for my development plan. The next key date put down is that of the 10th of June. This is the date where the online test was made and sent out to the public. I did this because I needed to see if I could actually adapt the technology to fit my needs in a short period of time. What I found is while the second section failed, the other sections actually worked to my benefits, and so it's to be written off as not as a total failure. I will therefore use this website again in the future, as if done right, this could become a valuable resource in my time at university, as most students do not use this resource. The final date to put down for June is that of the 26th of June. This is when I failed my time management schedule as I reached the 5th day behind my schedule. Due to unforeseen events, this meant I had to quickly delegate my already thinly stretched time to emergency. In order to master time management, I must give time for unforeseen events, which I do for my finances as well. Overall, next time I've decided I will have a more professional timekeeping method instead of just using a Word document and a calendar, which includes earlier deadlines and time available per day for emergencies. And then the final key date is the earliest, is that the 12th of April, which is when the very first seminars for this term were released. This is important as without attending these seminars, I would not be able to pass my modules, therefore fail the course. What I learned from this is what is expected from me as a student of Leeds Beckett University. I will continue with attending all classes with the same dedication to attendance as I did in the starting term. Now to go on to the revised plan. This is covering the period from 27th of June 2021 all the way to 1st July 2022, which shall be changed when the final day for the year is being announced. I've started with a new one, that's of stress management, to replace leadership roles. This is because during my time making all these plans, I've noticed that I was heavily struggling with my stress. To achieve this, I've started looking at different meditative techniques and audiobooks in order to relieve stress. To do this, I shall need an audiobook account, which I've recently purchased, earphones, a quiet environment, and spare time. My success criteria for this will be being able to get to the end of the 3rd year without stress impacting my physical health. And then the target date for this is the end of the 3rd year with a date waiting to be announced. The next one is that of time management again. I've decided to keep the tally technique as I believe this is a good starting point. Instead, I shall invest in a journal and track time with this, allowing each day to become more detailed in the planning and therefore being able to delegate time for emergencies. For this, I shall need a journal, my tally record again, knowledge of dates beforehand. My success criteria for this shall be the same as before, which is finishing my work without 5 tallies added to the end. This is for the end of the first term, so I can see whether there is a substantial difference between my time from third term of second year and first term of third year. The next one is that of punctuality. This is reusing the same target as last year, and the time research motivation techniques shall be used, so once I miss a seminar, it does not spiral out of control. I shall continue tallying up my attendances to know whether I'm in the progression I need, as well as using motivation techniques. My success criteria shall be reaching 75% attendance by the end of the first term. This shows that there is room for emergencies, as shown in time management as being a problem, but still enough time to attend my seminars. And this shall be for the end of the first term. The final one is that of technology. Now this looks at online courses for being able to be achieved. I shall need an online course and free time to practice this. A successful criteria will be being able to pass every course that is offered and shall be done for the end of the third year. Thank you for taking time to watch this presentation.